there are some feuds that transcend normal conflict and become an art form. And the master of this is Donald Trump. He knows the art of altercation like the back of his totally normal hand. But aside from that one slip-up, President Trump did a great job of letting the Prime Minister walk him from one side of the room to the other. It kind of makes me wonder if Donald Trump could have a real future as a show dog.
Introducing one of the favorites of tonight's show, the old American beaver hound.
What's gonna f us up is his obsession with the concept of the leverage that he has.
We have all the leverage if you know what you're doing. We do have leverage because we're the pot of gold. Using my leverage, and it's a tremendous leverage, and I used it before very well.
You don't have the leverage!
Desi Lydic stepped up with the kind of smile that says she already paid the rent with jokes that hadn't even been delivered yet.
Of course, it wouldn't be a Trump trip overseas without a visit to the U.S. troops who are stationed in every country in the world for reasons that are never quite clear. And after the Prime Minister made Trump feel so comfortable, he thought it was only fair for him to return the favor by bringing her along to make her feel uncomfortable.
But the cherished alliance between the United States and Japan is one of the most remarkable relationships in the entire world, really.
If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon.
And after the gift giving, it was time for some ceremony. So the Prime Minister showed off her new friend Trump to a gathering of uniformed soldiers. We see here in this solemn moment of respect, two allies totally in sync. Wait. Mr. President, where are you going? Nope, that's the kitchen. Whoops, nope, over here. No, Mr. Trump, back over here. Hold on.
Once the smoke of laughter started settling, Desi switched gears into investigative comedy, flipping through Trump's public behavior like she was grading worksheets. Her level of subtlety resembled a marching band performing inside a phone booth. Every comedic blow was crafted with precision, as if
it really feels like it's spiraling out of control. It seems like the smart move is to back off this whole thing. But Trump's team has been adamant that they will stay the course.
This is not a negotiation.
It's not the kind of thing you can negotiate away.
I don't think there's any chance that President Trump's going to back off his tariffs.
The president made it clear yesterday this is not a negotiation.
Trump posted this morning, "My policies will never change."
Well, that's it then. They're in it to win it. Full speed ahead, from the window to the wall. Trump's policy will never, ever change.
This is CNN breaking news.
The president announcing just minutes ago that he's now, quote, authorized a 90-day pause on some of his new tariffs.
What? The trade war's over? But it's tariff day. I shaved my legs for this. Now I have to grow it all back.
the audience didn't laugh at him. They laughed at the enormous performance of confidence that couldn't support its own weight.
For some reason, we have given presidents the power of a king. And then we say, oh, by the way, like, with that power, you're not going to get all, like, kingly and shit on us, right? To put that in constitutional terms, if I could, don't hate the player, hate the founding fathers. That's not... Why do we even have it? Because I don't know if you've met Donald Trump. He pushes shit.
President Trump deploying executive action to end birthright citizenship.
This unconstitutional, un-American attack.
The destruction erupts again when Desi leaned into the emotional poetry of Trump's social media era, comparing the storms of frantic posting to a Greek tragedy performed entirely in capital letters and exclamation points. He treated every digital meltdown like a Shakespearean soliloquy delivered by a man at war with autocorrect and grammar. It was the Louvre of self-celebration. Jon put the final comedic stamp on the whole saga by acting out a cinematic montage of Trump celebrating imaginary triumphs as inspirational music swelled aggressively in the background. It was absurd, it was dramatic, it was hilarious, the perfect final kick of satire. No gloating, no bitterness, just pure humor resting on undeniable spectacle.
Where he has a prolapsed pelvic floor. But one of his most personal feuds is with his own hometown, New York City.
New York has a problem. This is now a city in decline. Filthy dirty. The job they do is horrible. It has become a crime-infested place. Mothers can't walk their children to the park without fear of being shot.
It's a disturbing picture. Moms being stuck inside with their children all day. But Trump didn't always think New York was a New York too.
Trump wasn't destroyed by anger or outrage. He was undone by comedy that simply pointed to the performance of his persona and let it collapse under its own monumental self-importance. Jon didn't attack. He just held up the world's most accurate funhouse mirror. But the laughter didn't fade. It settled into the room like permanent wallpaper. Desi leaned into the post-roast glow with the confidence of someone who has seen absurdity up close and lived to turn it into comedy. Each exaggerated celebration became bigger, louder, and more glitter-covered than the last, until it reached a point where even the imaginary crowd was bored. Jon stepped back into the spotlight like a man returning from a sabbatical in disbelief. He explored the cinematic timeline of Trump's media battles, framing them as rivalries powered almost exclusively by self-inflicted drama. Every network became a villain, every headline a grand betrayal, every uncomfortable interview a heroic triumph of not answering a single thing.
That's the key misunderstanding here. Trump is so arrogant. He thinks the leverage is his. It's ours. We the people. And it took us 200. It's not your leverage. Why would you even think it is? It took the people 250 years of striving to live up to a constitutional republic and rule of law. Painstaking equity that you are squandering. That is the crux of American exceptionalism. You just want to make us great. That's a downgrade. Our brand is not strategic uncertainty. And you are not the keeper of our pot of gold.
Desi countered with another spectacular escalation, dissecting Trump's relationship with facts like a soap opera love story filled with tears, passion, and long stretches of separation. She performed it like a romantic tragedy in which facts begged to be acknowledged while Trump continued passionately courting his imagination instead. The result was the kind of poetic chaos that would make Shakespeare put down his quill and say, "All right, relax. That's enough drama." Then Jon delivered a segment dedicated to Trump's superpower, making promises so grand and vague that no measurement scale on Earth can calculate them. Each promise became a cinematic prophecy, a declaration so wildly ambitious it felt like someone trying to ski uphill during a hurricane. Jon slid in with perfect timing, revisiting Trump's rally stage charisma as if he were reviewing a long-running theater production whose plot never changes, but the dramatic delivery somehow gets more unhinged every night. He described each rally like an opera sung entirely in repetition, powered by pure adrenaline and an inability to stop talking. The audience could practically hear the imaginary music swelling.
Trump didn't always think New York was a New York 2. Back in the day, he thought it was an LA 10.
I have a special interest in New York. New York City is a hot city. It's a great city. It's the greatest city in the world.
There's a greater energy in New York. There's a greater verve or a greater drive.
New York City is the hottest city in the world right now. You know, I happen to be the biggest developer in the hottest city, so that's a very cool thing.
That's right. Not that long ago, Trump wanted to bang New York right in the Holland Tunnel. Sure, it wasn't a perfect relationship. There was the time in the 80s when Trump tried to evict his rent-controlled tenants. Then there was the time he wrote a letter to the mayor complaining that hot dog vendors were, I shit you not, splattering ketchup and mustard on the sidewalk.
Desi moved toward the final phase of the comedic teardown by comparing Trump's public image building to a home renovation where every wall was replaced with a mirror. Every decision, every sentence, every accomplishment built toward the same architectural goal, maximum reflection. She didn't have to name anything directly. The metaphor did all the destruction. Jon finished the segment with a poetic summary of Trump's entire media saga, a man trying to outrun accountability using confidence as fuel, volume as navigation, and grievance as GPS. The absurdity of it all hung in the air like confetti at the world's strangest parade. It wasn't anger, outrage, or hostility that closed the performance. It was laughter so sharp and undeniable that the myth of invincibility simply toppled over under its own exaggerated weight. Desi and Jon didn't need rage, outrage, or argument. They simply peeled the glitter off the performance and let the audience see the machinery underneath. No dramatics, no threats, just comedy doing what comedy does best, turning illusions into punchlines and ego into entertainment. When the lights dimmed and the laughter settled, one thing was unmistakable. The myth remained loud, but the room finally understood it had always been hollow.